Find the sum or difference of the polynomials. Can you identify which it is that we're trying to find? Is it the sum or is it the difference? Well, look, here's our first polynomial. Here's the second polynomial. In between the two, we have a subtraction sign. So here we are trying to find the difference because we're subtracting. So let's go ahead and do it. We're going to do this the same way. We're going to combine like terms. The only thing that's going to change is the coefficients, and instead of adding them like we did to find the sum on the previous example, we're going to subtract the coefficients to find the difference. So let's go through term by term. First polynomial, first term, we have a negative x to the power 4. So a like term would be something over here in the second polynomial, which also is x to the power 4. Notice that's this term. So these two are going to combine. We're only going to combine the coefficients. Now, what's the coefficient here? What's the number in front? Well, there is no number. All there is a negative sign. If you don't have a number, it's an invisible 1. So our invisible coefficient is a 1, and because there's a negative sign, that means it's a negative 1. So this is going to be negative 1. The coefficient over here is the negative 6. And then what are we doing with these two numbers? Well, look, we're going to subtract them. So here we have negative 1 minus negative 6. So notice here there is back-to-back minus. We're subtracting a negative, which this is the same as adding a positive. And just as a reminder, you can always use a calculator if you want to double check your arithmetic. When we do negative 1 minus negative 6, we're going to get a positive 5. That's the new coefficient, and the x and the exponent of 4 stay. Those don't change. All right, let's go to our next term here. So here we've got x squared. All right, that's this term. Let's see. Over here, do we have x squared? Yes, we do, right there. So these are the two terms we're going to combine. Let's subtract the coefficients. So negative 6 minus 8. Negative 6 minus 8 is a negative 14. Those were x squared terms. This is going to be x squared term. Let's go to our next one here, which is right here. This term is x to the power 5. Over here, we also have x to the power 5. Those are like terms. They're going to combine. Let's subtract the coefficients. Negative 2 minus 8. Negative 2 minus 8 is a negative 10. That's the new coefficient. Those terms were x to the power 5. That part doesn't change. It's going to stay x to the power 5. Notice now that we are done with all three of these terms from the first polynomial, but notice that there's still one term over here that we have not accounted for. That's this guy right here. Okay, and that's because there was nothing over here that was a like term. So this term has nothing to combine with. So we're just going to have this single term. Now we have to pay attention here because this is what we're doing. We're subtracting negative 7x. So since we're missing the term over here in our first polynomial, it's like we have a 0. So this is really what we're doing. 0, because we don't have an x term over here. Then we have to subtract the coefficient here is a negative 7. So 0 minus negative 7. Notice here when you subtract negative 7, that's the same thing as adding 7. So this is going to give us a positive 7. And then, of course, since that's an x term, it's going to stay x term. Okay, so it's positive 7x. Now we've accounted for all the terms. Our answer consists of these 4 terms, and we need to put them in standard form. So what's this going to look like? Our biggest exponent is a 5. That goes first. Negative 10 x to the power 5. Then we have x to the power 4 plus 5x to the power 4. Then we have minus 14x squared, and then we have plus 7x. This is our final answer.